So what I want to do now is create a text that has an image inside it and not a solid color. When I create a regular text, it is filled with a solid color, like over here. So this is not what we want. Although we can convert this to the effect that I want, but I want to start it off right away with the effect that I want. So I'm going to delete this layer. Instead of using a regular text, I'm going to use the horizontal type mask tool. What this will do is create the text as a mask or a selection. So on whichever layer you like, because we can switch between layers while retaining the selection, I'm going to type my text. The moment I go there, I get my text to be a selection. Now I'm transferred directly to something called the quick mask mode, which is selected from down here. Right? If I go back to my regular mode, for example, by going to the move tool, you get the text as a selection. Now, in case I wanted to move the selection without cutting part of the image, because here if I moved, I would be cutting part of the layer that I'm in. I happen to be in the background. If I create a new layer which is empty, I can move that emptiness. But otherwise, in case I didn't want to create a new layer, I can go to any selection tool, and that would let me move the selection like we learned before. Okay, what I want now is to show the layer, and I want the text to reveal that layer. So outside the selection, I would not have anything. For that, I would click on Add Layer Mask like we did last time. So now the text will reveal the image. Now what can we do with this now? If I go to my move tool and I move, I'd be moving the layer and the mask at the same time, which is something that I might want to do, but there are other things that I can do also. If I look here, I see that I have the image and I have the mask. If I press Alt and click, I would see where the mask is. So I can, for example, make a selection here if I wanted to and move this. But that's not something very clever, because it would take me some time to do. So Alt and click back to regain the original. What I can do, however, is unlink the two objects, which is the mask and the layer. If I unlinked, hello. Alright, so here I have my, I unlinked the two by clicking here. So now what can I do with this? If I clicked on the image and moved, I'd be moving the image underneath the mask. So the mask is static, and I have the image underneath it moving. If I click on the mask, on the other hand, I have the image static, but the mask is moving to reveal another part of the image. Alright? I'm gonna actually do it using another technique, or maybe another image that would make things a bit easier to understand. So let's say open this one here, and I'll drag it over. Alright, so it has to be a layer first of all, it cannot be the background. Let's say that I want to create the effect of binoculars, someone who is looking at his neighbors, for example. I would create a new layer, or before that, what I want to do, if I want to create the effect of just showing a part of the image, I would make a selection like this, say a circular selection, and add layer mask. Okay, so the background, I'm going to press Ctrl I to make it a black layer. So if I'm creating the effect of binoculars, I need to have two circles, and I want to blur them out a little bit. So for that, I'll press Alt and click on the mask. Right, so here I can move this around. For now, I need to do that, and press Alt and create, or actually with the magic wand, create a copy like this. And here I have this, which I want to paint with white. Alright, so now I want to blur things out so that the mask is not so sharp. So I'll go to Filter, Blur, and Gaussian Blur, and I increase the size just a little bit like this. Alright, so now if I press Alt and click back, this is what I get. It looks like someone is actually looking through binoculars. So what I can do now is do two things. I can either change the image underneath but keep the openings in place, or move the openings. For that, I'm going to unlink the two. If I click here on the mask and move, what's going to happen? What is going to move, the image or the openings? Yeah, so I can go like this and look around different parts like this. Alright? If, on the other hand, I click on the image and move, I'll be moving the image underneath the mask. So that way you can control both, or each one at a time. In case you wanted to move both at the same time, you click here and you go like this, so both will move. But that's not very interesting. So it's nicer to really control it using the unlinked version.